Hello. So back with the second video. This is not going to be for people who are looking for perfection. If perfection is what you are looking for, you know, don't watch this video. But I was thinking about these folios and I was thinking, I know I've seen them before, I've seen them for a very long time. I don't know where the idea comes from. I'm not sure who first came up with these, whether it was Tim Holtz or whether it was somebody else. And then I had my epiphany. I know exactly who came up with these folios. This is one I have started. It's not finished yet, but you might recognise this if you ever order books from Amazon. They come in these. And like I said, they're not perfect, but I think they make a fantastic rustic folio. This one is not finished. I'm going to put fabric on the spine, and I'm going to put fabric down the inside here. I will figure out how this goes. I haven't finished this one yet. I haven't covered the inside of the flaps. There's still work to do, but I was just like, I've got to share it. I think it's brilliant. I really do think it's brilliant. And I think, you know, these boxes have been around for a very, very long time if you've ordered books from Amazon. So I think Amazon deserves the credit for these folios. That's my opinion. So I've got a couple of paper packs out. This one I really love, but it's quite thin. This one is much, much brighter and thicker. So I'm kind of, and the good thing about these is they're single-sided. So unlike the Tim Holtz, you know, paper, which is amazing, this was made with kind of odd pages I had left from the French industrial paper. And this is the back of, I think, one of the wallflower papers. So I'm kind of torn between these two, and like I said, I pulled these out because they're single-sided. But I really want to use this one. I think I'm going to use this paper pad. Right, so the first thing is to kind of prep the box a little bit. I'm not going to take these stickers off on this one. I'm going to leave them. On the other box, they were already coming off, so it's quite easy to peel it off. So this piece obviously needs removing, and I'm just going to, as carefully as I can, and the good thing about this is it does seem to come off fairly easily, and it doesn't matter if you lose a bit because we're covering it up. We're covering it all up with cardstock. So there we go. So I've got that scruffy piece off there. The next thing I did was just kind of trim this edge. And you know, that, like I said, these are far from perfect, but they're free. If you order books, they're free. And I've got a few of the bigger ones, so if you wanted to use that much of your cardstock, you could use the bigger book box. I mean, I've even had Fabri-Tac delivered in these boxes before. You know, they're not obviously, I'm just going to round that a little bit. They're obviously not in perfect condition if they've squeezed something like Fabri-Tac into them. But I think these are perfect for folios. The other thing I did was I just made sure these creases were, you can tell where the crease should go. And obviously, depending on what was delivered in your box, depends on, you know, what kind of shape these flaps will be in. But you can, you know, you'll reinforce these so you can make the creases, you know, where you want them. And I'm just going to snip that piece off to make that a bit more even. I'm not looking for perfection, just tidy. That's all I want. Okay, now the other thing with these is you're going to have several creases where it's been folded, and you can kind of decide where you put your new creases, because you're going to put your cardstock on. I quite like it being a little bit rounded and a little bit kind of scruffy really. and this one is obviously too small at the moment, so I'm literally just going to have a little look. And what I'm going to do is, oh, you can see I've already done one. I just put my ruler down and just bend the box where I want to crease. Simple as that. So I can have a bit of a rounded spine kind of look to that. And once I put the fabric on it, you're still going to see the creases, so it's still not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a free folio, which I think is brilliant. So I'm going to start off by putting some cardstock on this inside piece, and this is a bit of trial and error. You just have to decide roughly where you think the crease is not going to interfere with your cardstock. And I'm going to make mine about 16.5 centimetres, this first piece. So I'm going to pick, oh, it's hard, isn't it? These are so nice. I like that one. I like that too. Oh, maybe I should have picked a paper before we started. That's awesome. Oh, I really like that too. Look at that size. Right. Oh, it's so difficult. I think I'm going to go for this. Okay. Now we're going to need more than one sheet of this particular one. Okay, I'll just remove that strip. Perfect for snippets. Okay, so we need a piece that's 16.5 wide. I'm sorry if I can't get all of this in frame, but unfortunately that's just my desk and the camera. Oh, that's not the right one, is it? This is the one we're doing. So 16.5 wide by, I'm going to go 25.25 centimetres long. And we're not going to cover all of this on camera because it will be very boring for you to watch. I'm just literally showing you how I covered mine. Okay, so we've got, that should fit pretty well. I think I'd actually cut this 25.5. Yeah, that fits okay on there. Like I said, you are not going to get perfection. These boxes are not perfect, but they are free if you've ordered something from Amazon. Now, I'm not going to spend time inking this. I'm going to ink it afterwards because, you know, you don't really want to watch me ink for hours. And the last one did actually take quite a long time to ink. I can ink all of this at the end. Now I'm going to give this quite a good coat of glue. I'm sure if you wanted to spend time making the creases in the boxes more kind of uniform, you could do that. I like it rustic. I'm not worried about it being perfect. And we will do lots more decorating on these in another video. Just try and make sure I get this the right way up. Okay. Right, now you might get little bits lift up where the creases are in the cardboard. You can kind of hold that down, but we're going to have, you know, put fabric over the spine at either side, so that's going to cover up a lot of those sins. So that's the first bit done, and that already looks so much better, doesn't it? Okay, so now we are going to put a piece over here. So I'm obviously going to do it the same height, which I think I ended up doing, yeah, I did 25 centimetres. this box, and I think I'm going to go to about that crease in the cardboard. Obviously your measurements are all going to be different. It depends on your, I'm going to go 2mm short of 6.5. It's going to depend on your box, where the creases are in your box. So I'm going to go 2 short of 6.5 centimetres. Just make sure that's right. And I need to open this up. Oh, I've forgotten. I've got a memory like a goldfish. 25.5, I think. Yes. 25.5. Okay, so what I did on this flap, I'm just going to leave it that way for a moment, is glue my, I mean this is not going to make it quite as sturdy as if you were using cardstock, because this is more like a, it's a heavyweight paper, but it's not, it's certainly not cardstock. I will show you the front of that pad again. I have shown it in a previous video, but I think it was a haul video. I'll show it to you again. For those of you in the UK, it came from the range, and they still have this paper pad. So what I'm going to do is this time, doesn't really matter because I've cut this piece sideways, so I'm actually lining it up with the edge of that flap. So this is going to be right at the very edge of the flap. As you can see. Then what I did was I just literally followed the line of that box, which is not perfect, to make that flap. So this is what we have so far, the start of a folio. So let's do the back. The back is slightly bigger, obviously width-wise. We've got, I'm going to cut about 17.75 centimetres for this piece. So this is the paper pad, Arts and Crafts, by Do Crafts or Paper Mania, or Dough Crafts, Paper Mania. Let's find the other one of those. I'm not going to bother cutting that top bit off. This time I'm just going to cut 25 centimetres. From the top or from the bottom. Okay, and what did we say? Oh, see, told you, goldfish. 17.75. That's the Right, so I'm just going to glue this on, and this is basically all I did with the previous one. The reason, I'll show you the pocket in a moment, and I'll just explain how I made that and why. I don't know if I'm going to do it with this one, simply because I actually have enough paper of this paper range. I ran out of paper that kind of worked with that. Apart from, I've just had my memorandum delivered. I am now completely out of Tim Holtz paper, apart from little tiny scrappy bits. So I might have to do a little bit of a shop. Loads of glue. You probably don't need as much as I'm using, but I just want to be sure. You could use a PVA. Obviously you're not going to get any, if you're using a decent weight cardstock, and because it's the cardboard, you're not going to get any wrinkling. So, you know, a PVA would be fine for this. Once that's got some fabric down here, that's going to look pretty awesome, and you know, it's not really going to look like a cardboard box, is it? So that's the back and that's the front. What I am doing is working out, I'm going to try and do some measurements for where we put the holes to get the elastic in, but that will kind of be a last minute thing, I think. So that's the outside covered. I think what I'll do is, this flap on this side is much smaller than the flap on the other one. I'm just going to explain. This is what I'm saying about the boxes, look, because this one is very different. They are the same style box, but the flaps are completely different sizes. I don't know why that is, but you know, you're going to have to just measure and, you know, like I said, cut around. Do what you can. But with this one, I'd run out of paper. I had 2 pieces, so I cut one piece and it only comes to about here, and I stuck that on first and glued that down, and then I cut my second piece, you know, the right width, and I popped this little, just using my circle punch, and then I just stuck around the edges and cut that. So it's turned that into a pocket. So now, you know, I didn't have a lot of choice what to do on this side, on this one. But I don't think I'm going to put a pocket on this one. So if I show you lastly just how to cover one side of this, how I got this to work, and then we'll leave it there because it's pretty self-explanatory after that, isn't it? Hopefully. I should never say things like that, should I? So let's have a look for a kind of paper that's going to... Oh, there's so many to choose from. It is really difficult. I want something with a small pattern, I think. Quite like that one. But that's really nice too. I'd actually like that, I think, on the big panel here. I mean, the good thing about using a paper pad is you know all the papers are going to... Oh, that's nice. I'm going to use this. You know all the papers are going to coordinate. Okay, so I'm going to get out my paper cutter because we're going to need it. Again, I wish I had room to leave it out and just go, right, I'm just going to cut this. Okay, so to measure this, I flattened the pocket and I measured from the top of the flap to the bottom of the box, and you can see this is 13 centimetres by just short. Let's do the width first, just ignore that for a minute. 15.5, just too short of 15.5. So I'm going to do this way, and you do have to, I'm just going to quickly fold that over because it doesn't fit in the paper trimmer with that top piece on. Okay, so I want a piece just short of 15.5, and this is where this paper trimmer falls down because you've got no measurements in between here. You kind of have to guess. I'm sure there is a way for someone who is a bit more intelligent than I am. Okay, that's about right. So we've got our width, and that should do both of these pockets, flaps. Both of those flaps. Getting me pockets and me flaps in a muddle. And I'm just short of 13 centimetres. So I'm going to pop this in here, cut that 13 centimetres. Now I am going to cut the other one while I'm here so I know which way up. That's going to be about the same. Okay, you can ignore that piece because I'm not going to do that piece on camera. Okay. Oh crikey, I do hope I'm making sense. So this needs to go on here. We're going to have a little bit of a gap either side. That's fine, we can ink that, cover that up. not looking for perfection. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Gayle. You really didn't have to, you know, mention the little digitals in the video. I'm glad you like them, Gayle, and you are very, very welcome. If there is anything I can do, I'm happy to do that. I think Gayle's circus book looks a lot of fun, but I really have a thing about clowns. I'm not a clown fan. I never used to have an issue with them. I never used to have an issue with spiders, but I don't like spiders anymore. I used to be able to pick them up with my hands, get them out of the house, and over the last couple of years I've suddenly got this real like, oh, I'm not touching it. I don't know why. I didn't know you could grow into phobias, but apparently you can. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And again, I'm not too worried because we're going to trim. Okay, get that stuck down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and you can start to feel where that first crease is. So I'm just popping my ruler down and lifting, but I'm holding down that paper at the same time. So I'm making that crease where that first fold is. Okay, once I've got it started, I'm going to push it all the way back, and I'm now going to do the same in reverse. So I'm popping my ruler down where that crease is, where it folds back, and I'm just bringing that back against my ruler. Once we've got that crease started, we can kind of reinforce it a bit. But as you can now see, we've got our crease. Can you see that? Our crease is where it, and it holds really well. Obviously it's cardboard, so it's pretty good. So I'm just going to turn this over so I can see the back, and I'm just trimming off the excess. Like I said, I'd rather have a little bit too much than not have it big enough. And I'm just cutting that off. So that's how I covered the flaps. The inside obviously is very easy, and the inside here is very easy. I would wait until this is completely dry before you cover the inside of those flaps. You might not want to cover them at all. It's entirely up to you. But that is how I made my Amazon folio. So, you know, it's free. And as you can see, I've got a bit of an issue here. So what I'm going to start doing is sort of folding this down and gluing that up. Not perfect, not looking for perfect. It's free. It's a folio that's free, and I'm very happy with it. I think it's awesome. Good old Amazon. Good old Amazon. And if any of you make these, please do let me know, because I'd love to see what you come up with. And if anybody makes a big one of the, you know, that the larger books come in, that would be awesome. So I will finish obviously covering this up until I need to put the fabric on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open that up and let that dry while that's gluing down, and then it will be easier to crease. I hope you found this useful. I hope you like the idea. Yeah, I will kind of work on this one and come back, and then we'll do the same on this one together, and I'll also be back with decorating the mini folios that we started in the previous video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.